And I just had some lunch, and I got 2 fortune cookies, so I opened them both. And it says, "Your mind is creative, original, and alert." Well, thank you for the compliment, fortune cookie. Fortune in the fortune cookie. And the second one said, "Take a trip with a friend." So I'll take you on a trip. I take you on a trip every week. So this comes from the "What the hell are you doing here?" files. And this is on the r/cuckold community video. And this person, I'm quoting from them now. "Actually, this is making some people's relationships stronger. I know that most of you can't understand cuckolding. Just let those people be. It's their life." You want to stop people from engaging in self-destructive, treacherous behaviors, and you say let them be. You have a very negative view of humanity. You do not want to help your fellow man, and that is very, very dangerous. And then there's another one that says, "A relationship is what you make it to be. There's no such thing as a normal relationship because a relationship is a mutual agreement between 2 adults. Please don't start with the murderer comparison. Just because you don't understand cuckolding doesn't mean it's something bad. Murderers doesn't look for consent of their victims, so that's a completely different thing." Armin Mivas, a homosexual who found a guy on the Cannibal Cafe internet forum. And he's like, "Oh, I want to eat somebody." And this guy's like, "Oh, I want to be eaten. That makes me horny." And so they got together and consensual homicide was committed. Now, obviously, we all know that is that's an abomination. That's all we need to say about it. We don't need to put it into words any further than that. But wait, there's more. "I also don't understand cuckolding culture, but I'm the last person to judge what adult people are doing with their sex life. Those men aren't hurting anybody, and yes, if that's what makes them happy, they are free to do it. You judging them doesn't make you something better." You know, Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. Does that make it any less of a betrayal? And you see with this comment thread I just read for you, you see just how civilization is regressing. The foundation of civilization is the family. That is the bedrock upon which everything is built. One man, one woman, having babies, and bringing those babies into a world where they will find a support system, where they will find a family, grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles on both sides. Polyamory, cuckolding, compromises the bedrock upon which civilization is built. Infidelity, an incredibly common reason for the end of relationships, for the end of marriages. It's an unfortunate reality. Infidelity is infidelity regardless of consent. Consent. As long as everyone consents. Let me tell you something. Again, I brought this up, and this is proof that nobody really listens. I brought this up. You know, when you're bored, you're in your cul-de-sac as a kid, you're playing with a neighbor kid, you're riding bikes, and you get bored riding bikes. And you're like, "Hey, let's build a ramp and jump over each other's heads. You first." And so it's like, okay, you could jump over my head. Okay, the ramp's set up, and your ramp is there, your head's next to it, and your friend's gonna jump his bike over it, and your friend fails, tire lands on your face, you run off crying, and the friend trails behind you yelling, "You said it was okay, you said it was okay." We are dealing with children. Those who adhere to the consent morality, those who adhere to the harm-based morality, they are children, developmentally stunted dipshits. I got sent something on Twitter here. Who was it from? Flubby Pony. Look, I appreciate you sending this to me, but please drop the pony stuff. I'm just gonna admonish you nicely for it. Just stop, all right? So with that out of the way, thank you regardless. This says, this is from r/polyamory. It It says, let me give you a little background. I'm 45 male, a little overweight, but in good shape, diabetic, but it's well controlled. I'm fairly good looking. My wife is 44, thin, generally healthy, but has some chronic health issues. She looks much younger than her age. We are wealthy, but not fabulously so. We live an upper middle class lifestyle. We know where this is going. There are no yachts or anything. No, it's it's the upper middle, it's the opulent fetish. It's the opulent fetish, as well as the intellectual fetish. You want to be opulent and intellectual, don't you? Okay, there are no yachts or anything, but we could continue this lifestyle for the rest of our lives without ever working another day. Well, that might explain your pathology. That might explain a few things. You have nothing to do, and so now you're turning against yourselves. You are mutilating your spirits. The idle mind is a devil's plaything. And here's more proof of that. About 9 months ago, wait, am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. About 9 months ago, wife changed jobs by moving to a different company. About 2 years ago, I left a highly paid executive position to become a university professor. Strike two. Both of us love our new jobs. About 6 months ago, my wife suggested opening our marriage and embracing polyamory. My wife and I were both virgins when we met, and were monogamous. She said she wanted to sow some of the wild oats she never sowed in her youth. You don't have any oats to sow, you fucking retard! And this is more proof. I bet you these, look, and let me read this first. How about this one part that made me laugh so hard when I first saw it. I am philosophically aligned with polyamory, so I was not overly reluctant. Now, I know white people are the best, we're the greatest. I love all my white brothers and sisters, especially my LGBT white brothers and sisters, but you don't hear Chinese people saying, oh, I'm philosophically aligned with polyamory. I don't hear Mexicans saying, I'm philosophically aligned with polyamory. I don't hear blacks saying, I'm philosophically aligned with polyamory. You have a few IQ points above average. And this is how you use it to justify your horrible civilization ruining decisions. I mean, look, great, you have IQ, but what are you doing with it? I'm so smart. Yeah, you're a university professor. You steal from the taxpayers to turn their children against them. The first weekend of openness, my wife contacted a recently divorced colleague from her former job. They went out to dinner. She called me after dinner and said she was going to his house and wouldn't be back that night. She ended up not coming home for 2 full days. A few weeks later, she went on a date with a much younger former colleague. Ever since, she calls the younger colleague friends with benefits and the divorced colleague her lover. She sleeps with one or the other of them at least once a week. In contrast, I have not had a single date with the exception of one glass of tea at Panera with a woman from OkCupid. We don't know any other polyamorous couples, and my searches and forums have not received any replies. We live in a city with 1 million people. There's another problem. The urbanite mind is a terrifying thing. We live in a city with 1 million people, so they must be out there. But I can't find them. I am naturally introverted, but not shy. I meet people in non-romantic situations easily. Neither my wife nor I has ever spent time in bars. Good one there, Professor. And neither of use, he spelled it use, but it's us. Neither of us has ever picked up a stranger. I am not a loser or a douche. I don't think, oh, you are a loser. You are a big fat fucking loser. You would be more dignified as some shut-in who never leaves his house and never got married. You'd be better off as a 45-year-old virgin. I slightly feared abandonment. I think everyone must. I feared being replaced. Every fear came true. No shit. You have all these IQ points. You're the smartest race, right? You belong to the smartest people, and you can't think like, oh, if this happens, this is how I'm going to feel about it. If this happens, this is more likely to happen, and here's how I'm likely to feel about it. It's like last week when we dealt with that porn star. You couldn't think your actions 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead, a step and a half ahead? Because, oh, but that's a fallacy, because that's a slippery slope, am I right? I'm sure you learned that in college, professor. I'm sure you learned that in your college days. I'm sure you teach it to your students, your witless retard students. Where did I leave off now? Every fear came true. I developed erectile dysfunction a few weeks after the relationship opened. It might have been the very first night because my wife declined sex from me for at least 6 weeks after opening. No medicine has helped. Both my urologist and psychologist think I have repressed anger and feel emasculated. No shit. If I have anger, it must be very repressed because I don't consciously feel it. You are defeated. That's what you feel. You are defeated. You have failed as a man. It is your duty as a man to lead. Lead your wife. Lead your flock. This is another reason why polyamory and cuckolding is pathetic. It is an emblem of your failure as a man. Your duty as a man. Go to Genesis, the first book of the Bible. There's a story about this, about what happens when you let your wife lead you around by her tits. Come on, Adam, let's eat the fruit. It'll improve our relationship. We'll be so much stronger after we eat the fruit. It'll improve our relationship. It'll bring us closer. It's a story as old as time itself. But you're too smart for that, Professor. You're far too smart for that. After all, they didn't have classrooms back then. They didn't have iPads. They didn't have voice recognition technology. They didn't have drones. They were so stupid. We're so smart. And this tale we're reading here, this tragedy we're reading right now, this is just the apogee of his weakness. I guarantee you there were previous instances of succumbing to his wife's whims, her retarded whims, because this guy has no spine. You have failed to make yourself master of your own domain. And if you are not master of your domain, no one is. No one is. Because, the wife, I can do anything. No. Women cannot lead other women. As evidenced by that one video I posted on my Twitter, for those of you that post on Twitter, 2 lesbians, a beautiful married lesbian couple, so beautiful. Brings a tear to your eye. Both of them in diapers. And they're, we're pooping and peeing in diapers. And they make a video of this. Now ask yourself, would they have done this if they had a man in their life? A strong hand? Guiding them? Keeping them on track? We need more men, not professors. And no, not the men who are the rise of the alpha homo, the European new rights, new heroes. No, not those kind of men. We do not need men who view their fellow man as a cum dump. I left off here. My wife is still friendly with me. We talk a lot, but she's tired of hearing me complain. She hasn't exactly said it, but intimates that her new sex life is much more satisfying than her old. She sleeps in our bed most nights. She allows me to massage, caress, and masturbate her. She occasionally condescends to give my limp penis a few pats. Oh God, this is upsetting. This is what a man looks like at his lowest. How can you go lower than this? I have not had an orgasm in her presence for at least 4 months, and the erectile dysfunction makes masturbation almost impossible for me. I am extremely sexually frustrated. That may contribute to my lack of dating success. I've been told women can sense it. What, that you are a loser who is incapable of leading them? Yeah, you are. You are. As I said, we talk a lot. I mentioned that I feel like her friend without benefits. She said my complaining is unattractive and not helping the situation. I went from confidently straddling the world of corporate power to feeling like a wimpy nerd. Okay, I have always been a nerd. Yes, you have, Professor. I see no other path other than divorce, and I doubt I will be happy after divorce. We have 3 teenage children. Dividing assets will be a mess. I feel like I will never be loved again. I feel like I have no value to women and am a terrible lover. Yeah, you feel correct. I even asked if I was a terrible lover and she wouldn't say no. There was an occasion when we took a bath together. I massaged her for an hour after. She said she was horny. She got dressed and drove to her friends with benefits, leaving me naked on the bed with my jaw hanging open. We don't fight, we don't yell. I do have some jealousy, but it is not the primary emotion. The jealousy I have is not even about the sex exactly. It's about affection and time allocation. In other words, it's about the sex. When my wife is at home, we're always busy with kids, chores, de-stressing from the day, etc. Her entire sexual appetite is fulfilled by her lover and friends with benefits. I am jealous, but much more importantly, I am abandoned. She says all my feelings of inadequacy are my own, that I can only work on them, and they are unattractive. Moral of the story, if you are a man who does not routinely turn down sexual advances from women, you are making a huge mistake to attempt polyamory. Even a 20-plus year loving and affectionate marriage cannot survive when both partners are theoretically poly, but only one actually is. It can't survive either way, you fucking retard. Even if you're getting it. Your house is broken. I feel like she threw away our marriage. And you helped with that. You allowed your wife to stray. And you are a failure. You are a failure in every respect. I feel like she threw away our marriage. I can't believe my experience is all that uncommon. Well, look, there have been studies about this that say, look, if a woman has, with each sexual partner a woman has, with each new sexual partner a woman has, her likelihood of divorce increases. Her likelihood of having a divorce in her lifetime increases. You get the divorce, you go through the courts, you go through custody hearings. The woman usually gets the children in the custody hearings. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming how often the woman is rewarded custody of children. So the kids get to grow up the rest of the way with a single mom. Kids who grow up with single mothers are more likely to experience sexual abuse, more likely to do poorly in school, poor academic performance, more likely to experience depression, more likely to end up in jail. But no, cuckolding, polyamory, no. It's intellectual, it is scholarly, it's a great thing that you can do. It'll strengthen your relationship, and who are you to judge? Who are you to judge? Hey, science doesn't say it's bad, therefore, hey, I fucking love science. I fucking love science. Science doesn't say anything about that. Science is my God. It doesn't say anything wrong with polyamory. What does it say about our culture that the opinions of those who believe in God, who follow God's rules, who do all the right things for the right reasons, their opinions are discarded immediately for the fact that they believe in God. Yet, if you suck and fuck indiscriminately, if you are a hedonist, you are a wanton, pleasure-seeking cum dump. No, you're valid. We can't judge you. Who are we to judge you? You know, all of these negative outcomes that are a result of your behavior. No. We can't judge that. This is what the collective believes. This is not what we as individuals believe, those that have made their way onto this channel. Even some people that have found their way to this part of YouTube still believe that polyamory, cuckolding, it doesn't hurt anybody. You as an individual matter. All right, so don't group yourself in with anybody, because you can't control what that collective does. And what that collective is doing right now, and it's mostly white people, this is what they believe. Do you want to be grouped in with that? Do you want to group yourself in with that? I don't. And I want to elaborate further on this, because some people think that's defeatist. Why do you want to be on a losing team when you can be a winner on your own? So I found this. It says, "Common filth, I'm torn on this guy. I listen to nearly every podcast, but I hate his miserable defeatist approach. I know he hates being called a defeatist, but that's what he is. Makes it really hard to sit through a whole hour of him finding the worst people and saying, see, we're fucked, repent before hell. Look, I'm telling you that the collective is fucked. All right, now if you wanna belong to that collective, if you want to be on a losing team, that's your fault. Have fun losing, being a loser. Have fun being a loser. If that's what you want for yourself, have fun being a loser.